Dzień dobry. Więcej entuzjazmu dla ekspertów. Zapraszam ich. Chodźcie, chodźcie. Dobrze. So I'm going to switch to English because we have a panel which is not only Polish and we have a European perspective. Today with us is Elisabetta Falcetti from EBRD. Also we have Damian Zieliński from Mastercard and Katarzyna Wszoła from Veolia, which is a company that most of you might know if you live in a bigger or even smaller city in Poland, which operates with infrastructure. And we're going to address I think, one of the fundamental issues which is crucial for this conference, but the discussion that we have in the European Union, it is the interconnectedness of technology and climate change. And the first round of questions, which I do ask to be short, is just about what do your companies do in case of the EBRD, your business, in cooperation with governments and self-governments in this region. So not only in Poland, so what is important in the connection of these two elements. And I'm going to start with you, Elisabetta.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be at this conference. Just for those who are not familiar with the EBRD, we are an international financial institution, and we have an impact mission to support sustainable economies. So what we do is that we finance projects in the green space. And up to the question of this panel, which is what the role for technology in promoting the green economy transition, I think it's very important because if you think about the energy sector, the application of technology allows the optimization of the use of the grids, both for transmission but also for distribution, to make the grids more flexible and be able to absorb the intermittent energy that comes from renewables, for example. So we can balance depending on demand. If you think about the provision of services, the use of technology and electronic payments is fundamental if we want to shift from the physical provision of services to a virtual provision of services. And this is important because it can help reduce the footprint of the delivery of services to your home, for example. If you think about municipal services, again, if you think about public transport, EBRD is promoting, through its investment, the concept of green and smart cities. We have a facility where we help and we discuss with the cities and we help them design a green city action plan that also embeds technological solution in order, for example, to design transport system that optimize the use of public transport, support a modal shift to greener way of transport, and reduce the carbon footprint of the cities.
Okay, thank you. Damian?
Yeah, first of all, let me say that at Mastercard, ESG, sustainability, with focus on green economy is part of our DNA for long. We recognize the vital role it plays in the future success of our business. Now, if you look at our business model, which is B2B2C, we can act and help to fight the climate crisis at least in two dimensions. First of all, as a corporate level, here we keep purchasing 100% renewable electricity for our global operations. We keep working with eco-friendly suppliers. Most interestingly, since the beginning of last year, all compensations of our employees are tied to ESG goal, again with focus on carbon neutrality. And all of this and more basically is to reach carbon neutrality by 2040. Now, I think the most important layer would be the engaging the end users, right? Because this is where we can really reach scale. If you look at Mastercard, here in Poland, we are talking 20 million plus of cardholders, database. Globally, we are talking 3 billion of consumers that we can reach together with our business partners, namely banks, fintechs, merchants, acquirers. And how? What kind of technologies? Let me give you like 3 examples. First of all, the educational layer, our flagship product, which is Carbon Calculator. Simply with one click of the button in your mobile application app, you can basically check your impact, right, of your transactions within a certain period in certain categories, right? It is about educating and understanding the footprint, right, and the impact we produce. Once we understand it, then the question is how we can offset. Here comes another suite of technologies or solutions. Let me mention another flagship solution, which is our Priceless Planet Coalition, which is about our commitment to plant 100 million trees by 2025. Work in progress, basically. And again, here you can use our donation platform, which is about another one click of the button in your mobile app, and you can basically donate to plant a tree, right? Finally, it's about digitalization, right? And talking digitalization, we also produce plastic by cards, right? Many users, but it's not needed anymore, right? Everybody is entitled to make all their cards fully digital and use our tokenization technology. And we see here in Poland and beyond, it is already becoming a commodity. One last example, let me also mention the announcement from 2 or 3 weeks ago, because we know it's a process to get into fully digital mode, right? It's a process that takes time. But by 2028, we basically announced that globally all our customers are required to get rid of the first-use PVC plastics from our payment cards, right? So only eco-plastics, biosourced materials will be basically allowed to use for physical form of cards.
Very interesting. And Katarzyna, Wszoła.
I was thinking about what kind of technologies I could actually share with you, because we have a diversification of approach when it comes to the things that we do, things we implement, and how we focus on our planet. So Veolia, as you've mentioned, is focusing on energy, water, and waste. So wide selection of different opportunities for us and our partners. So operating on global level, we have a panel related to CEE. So providing you with some of examples, heat recovery from wastewater in France and in Hungary, cooling devices devices to cool the cities that are based on actually the biomimicry. So a very inspiring solution, a bit diversified when it comes to our topics, but focused on the usage of, for example, scallop shells when it comes to their construct and building blocks of pavements with that to provide cooling for different for cities. And we do that in France, in Bordeaux. So variety of solutions, as you can see in our market. But in Poland also, we can share with you a lot of initiatives and a lot of technologies. Some of them are heat recovery from sewage in Szlachęcin, heat recovery from Volkswagen, so cooperating with our partners on actually the industrial heat. So putting a lot of focus on those kind of technologies. Also focus on the energy efficiency, so working again with our partners, so housing cooperatives on solving different aspects, on focusing on the buildings and creating new solutions, new integrations of different type of technologies. And there are plenty of different initiatives that we have operating, and we are trying to diversify it as much as possible to focus on the biggest impact that we could have.
Thank you. So, you want to add something?
No, it's okay.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna come back later on to that question on technology and green tech, for example, in Poland. But I want to go back to Elisabetta and talk about the challenge that you see as EBRD. You're working with different countries, not only in this region, You saw it from London as the whole kind of place have different potentials. And of course, there are different projects that could be implemented in this region in terms of the kind of energy sources. So do you see this discrepancy, for example, that there are going to be more projects of onshore wind farms or, for example, less PV platforms built in the region of Central and Eastern Europe? So what kind of co-financing of these issues do you see as the EBRD?
Well, it's a good question. First of all, let me say that I don't think there is a solution that fits all countries. So, we know that Poland has just announced a more ambitious energy strategy with a bigger role for stepping up the renewable energy. Also a role for nuclear, so greener sources of energy will become the majority of the energy production in the country. As EBRD, and with this focus that we have, and I should have mentioned it earlier, that we have a commitment to, as an institution, to invest more than 50% of what we do in green finance. In Poland, we are actually already way above this target, because if I look at what we invested last year, which was 1 billion euro in Poland in projects across various sectors, 80% of that was in green finance. And what we focus on is definitely renewables. There is a huge potential, as we know, in offshore, but also onshore, solar, and I think there is still a lot of potential to invest in this technology. Then what you need to do, looking sort of forward and at the most advanced and frontier technology to green the economy, I think you need to take into account different factors that differentiate countries. That's the reason why we don't have a unique solution. You need to look at the structure of your industry, and I think in Poland we know that we have a lot to do to decarbonize the heavy industry. But there could be potential, because it could be a way to produce and to utilize hydrogen, for example. Then there is, of course, the whole investment and innovation in storage solutions that are key, again, if we want to use more the intermittent energy from renewables. You need to take into account energy security consideration. I mean, we were listening to the Prime Minister earlier on, was explaining how Poland was able to completely diversify away from Russia within almost a year. So it was amazing to do that.
Took a bit more years to prepare.
Yeah, but still, I mean, there are countries in Central Europe, Slovakia, Hungary, that are still heavily dependent on Russia's supply. So it's not an easy thing to do. And of course, you need to take into account also of affordability sort of constraint and have mechanism in place to be able to target subsidies if you need them. And talking about sort of the sort of heating sector and solution, I think countries differ in terms of distribution and density of the population. So when you think about alternative to centralized district heating and, for example, the potential for heat pumps, it depends really on the configuration of the current cities and whether these solutions will develop fast enough to be able to substitute for district heating.
Thank you. And I want to target specific issue connected with Mastercard, because we all think it is a payment company. It's a technology company. So everybody's talking right now about ChatGPT and how it's going to, I don't know, take away our jobs, take away the moderators. So you're going to have, questions asked by somebody else here, or introducing robot guests or something like that. But the specific question is, so do you as a company think that the AI or the language models that they are currently developed and the neural networks are going to be beneficial in terms of decreasing the carbon emissions on some sort? So do you see any opportunity in that?
First of all, I'm happy to be here with you yet. Still, God knows what happens in a year from now. Now, short answer, yes, we see the opportunity. Still, if you look at our business, we use AI to protect our payments ecosystem, globally for years now. each and every year we process billions of transactions quickly, securely, safely, thanks to AI. Now, if you look at the flagship use cases, we leverage AI capabilities as of today that would be more into cybersecurity space, loyalty programs, fraud protection, and this kind of things. To be completely frank with you, ESG, sustainability, fighting the climate crisis wouldn't be the most prominent or advanced, use case for now. Still, we have very first inroads and pilots in this domain. Let me give you very briefly 2 examples. First of all, it's about we leverage AI to monitor the health of forests we planted within our Priceless Coalition program. So together with our partners, we kind of developed a framework which allows to assess the impacts of the trees restoration projects and basically also to evaluate the potential and actually to mitigate the potential failures by analyzing weather anomalies from the past like fires, droughts and other basically disasters, right? That would be one example. Another example, a bit different domain, still green domain, that would be leveraging AI to help cities, still in US, it's a pilot in US, yet to come closer to our home, which is targeted to assess climate risks for cities to make more informed investment decision for the cities and investors regarding identified climate risks, again like floods, droughts and other climate anomalies. And again, it's AI-powered, real-time dashboard capturing a lot of data elements to analyze.
It's better than the regular weather forecast.
Definitely.
Okay, thank you. And speaking of green tech, I want to go on Veolia and whatever, being present in so many places, also in the region, you see obstacles that companies do encounter in terms of developing green tech technologies, whether it is regulatory or any other infrastructural. So could you please name them? What do you see as a more a bird-eye view with your business?
Yeah, sure. There are numerous actually challenges that we as a sector face starting from the regulatory perspective. So all the regulations and lack of the systematic approach and limited approach when it comes to solving and tackling this issue. When it comes to the administrative procedures related to handling the implementation of this kind of solutions is posing some challenges and it takes time. Based on business-wise, it may be a challenge for various companies to prepare a full long-term plan when it comes to decarbonization. So decarbonizing all the assets and how to focus on it, what steps to take to operationalize. When it comes to technological perspective as well from the energy sector, placing this attention into the inadequate investments when it comes to the transmission networks, resulting to the limitation when it comes to the uptake of renewable energy sources, it may pose some challenges as well. And last but not least, the social aspect, because despite of the fact that people are getting more aware when it comes to the necessity to implement green solutions, there is still the fear and some fears related to the energy pricing, to loss of jobs and everything. So it is posing some threats when it comes to the social acceptance, when it comes to implementing green solutions.
Thank you. And I'm going to do, because we have almost running out of time, I'm going to ask you one question, which is not one I thought of, but we have a current energy crisis. Do you believe that it's going to make the changes in the systems faster, so more greener, or it's going to make everything slower? Elisabetta, you're first, and please be mindful of that. We like 10, 15 seconds.
It will accelerate the transition, for sure. I mean, we have no choice. We need to accelerate the deployment of renewables, for example.
Okay, Damian?
Same comment. Basically, regulations and consumers are pushing us to keep the green ball rolling.
I would say accelerate, but it is not an easy one to answer you unequivocally when it comes to the Polish region. So it will pose some challenges. It will pose also some opportunities for companies to accelerate, to push them forward. But still, we need to consider that it is not a one single sector issue. So it is going to be very challenging, but definitely accelerate.
Okay, thank you very much. You all heard the final statements. Elisabetta Falcetti, Damian Zieliński, Katarzyna Wszoła, thank you very much.